Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, the House majority downplays the ouster of two key allies of former President Rodrigo Duterte from their deputy speakership. Are more shakeups coming? And administration allies insist the Marcos-Duterte alliance remains intact. Surigao del Norte 2nd District Representative Ace Barbers joins us in the program. And later, the special elections for the congressional seat of the 3rd District of Negros Oriental is no longer pushing through. Commission on Elections Chairman George Garcia tells us more later in the program. House Majority Leader Manix Dalipe says the removal of Pampanga Representative and former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo and Davao City Representative Isidro Ungab is an issue on loyalty and not about the 2028 elections. Arroyo and Ungab were removed from their post for not signing a House resolution affirming support for Speaker Martin Romualdez and upholding the integrity and honor of the House. So the resolution was issued following criticisms hurled by former President Rodrigo Duterte, who described the House as a rotten institution.
Na 2028 election or even 2025 election, we are just reacting to a statement na all House members feel na atake ito sa amin, masakit eh. It is just a reaction to a criticism, an attack against the integrity and reputation of the House.
And let's go straight to the source of the story. We have Surigao del Norte 2nd District Representative Ace Barbers. Congressman Ace, welcome to the source. Thank you so much for your time.
Good morning, Pinky, and thank you for having me. Magandang umaga po sa ating mga kababayan.
Sir, siguro sa inyo naman galing, kamusta na po yung Congress ngayon after the passage of this House Resolution 1414, which basically called for the upholding of the integrity of the House. And syempre, kasama dito yung support for the Speaker, which actually caused the removal of Congresswoman GMA and Ungab as Deputy House Speakers.
So far as I speak, Pinky, okay naman ang Kongreso sa ngayon. In fact, lahat ng mga priority bills na nasa LEDAC ay tinatapos natin ngayon before Congress goes on break itong December. No? We just recently finished the budget and turned it over to the Senate for their deliberation as well. So hopefully, before the year ends, most of the priority legislation in the list of LEDAC priority bills will be approved by the lower house. Now, the recent approval of the resolution, protecting the integrity of the House, ito naman was born out of issues being raised against the Congress, because marami pa rin nag-iisip na mayroong pork barrel, marami pa rin nag-iisip na nakikriticize na maraming parang there is a notion that napakadaming pondo ang meron dyan. Actually, most of the congressmen have reacted dun sa statement, dun sa belief ng marami o dun sa belief ng iilan na nagsasabing may pork barrel at maraming pondo ang Kongreso. So they all made their pitch in saying that there's no such thing in Congress, of course. Pangalawa, and we still support the leadership of Speaker Martin Romualdez.
All right, at least that's clear, sir? Because what needs to be clarified here is that, from my understanding, this was initially, tama ho ba, initially born out of the statement of former President Rodrigo Duterte calling Congress the most rotten institution, and then subsequent to that, tama ho ba, is the support or your full support for Speaker Martin Romualdez?
Actually, even before that, marami naman ding nag-comment, hindi lang naman si former President Duterte. Of course, we respect the opinion of anyone, including the opinion of former President Duterte, kasi kanya-kanya naman talagang belief yun. But one thing is that we want to make clear is the fact that those allegations, those stories that there's a lot of our Congress is awash with funds or cash or hidden funds. That is not true. So, yan ang aming ano. And there are also some stories that reach the leadership of the House that merong mga attempts, no, to shake to shake up the leadership. That's why everybody has signified their support to Speaker Martin as our speaker in this Congress.
Sir, yun na nga po kumbaga tinutumbok nito yung dalawang bagay, hindi ho ba? Yung supposed to be yung integrity ng House at yung suporta kay Speaker. That's clear. Okay. Now, you said nga that meron nga pong mga attempts. Ano po? Just tell us, sir, were there serious attempts? How serious, rather, were these attempts to oust the Speaker?
Well, there were, as I speak to you now, Pinky, no, what I can say is these are just stories from certain quarters, no. And if there are stories like this, no, that would somehow shake up the leadership, the first reaction was to nip it in the bud immediately. So, and perhaps that was the strategy. That's why most of the members or majority of the members of the lower house today has already acted on their own by issuing statements that support the leadership of Speaker Martin.
Okay.
And we had to do that in a way that a resolution should be passed. Just so that for the record, it will be stated that majority of the members of the lower house still supports the leadership of Speaker Martin Valdez.
So I wanted to ask you, Kong Ace, how serious or how binding, rather, would these signatures be in that House Reso 1414?
Well, actually, it's a manifestation of not just it's written in a document. So I would say it would probably have the effect of some sort of a quote-unquote a law, no? Kasi resolution ito, expressing the sentiments of the majority members of the lower house. So I would say it would have a binding effect, no? Because once you put your signature in that piece of document, that already is a binding document.
Yeah.
So
understandably, but it's a
matibay na yun.
binding. Sorry, sir. No, it's a binding document until it is changed. Until you
Until
change
it's
your
changed.
mind.
That is correct. That is
Okay.
correct.
Sir, I
that
wanted
is
to
correct.
get your
But-
thoughts on the removal. Sabi mo nga, nip it in the bud. In the past, the senior deputy speaker, GMA, was demoted to deputy speaker. Tapos from deputy speaker naman po ngayon ay congresswoman. Were you aware that GMA will be removed as deputy speaker? And furthermore, do you agree with the move?
Well, first, honestly, I am not aware. Because during the time that the members of the lower house has already started issuing statements of support to Speaker Martin, we actually don't know what's the move the leadership will be, after this issuance of statements of support. We really, honestly, I really don't know. Number two,
Do you support it?
If it's supported, it's not up to me, Pinky. No, it's up to the leadership of the House. But syempre, kanya-kanya po tayong desisyon, kanya-kanya po tayong opinion.
And what is your opinion, sir?
My opinion is that I leave it to the wisdom of the leadership.
Okay.
Siyempre, may kanya-kanya rin silang opinion. But again, if I am put in a situation where assuming I am the speaker, that I am being challenged, the first reaction that I would make would immediately be probably the same, nip it in the bud. So parang it's not really a kanya-kanya kasing strategy. Hindi to written in stone, so to speak. No.
So I guess it's fair to say that sabi mo nga, kung kayo yung speaker, you would nip it in the bud as well. So this makes me understand that you agree. Tama ho ba?
Yeah, nip it in the bud.
move.
No, not necessarily, Pinky. Nip it in the bud that we should, I should make moves to stop the challenge against me. No, in whatever way that is. No, kanya-kanyang strategy yan eh. We really don't know how. It probably would depend on the current situation.
So what happens now, Kong Ace? Kasi hindi ho ba GMA is still part of the majority? Yung majority bloc naman po, that comprises a number of parties. For example, Lakas, you have NPC, you have NP, which you are a part of. Ano po, NP po kayo, hindi ho ba?
That's correct. Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct. I'm
And
a
then,
nationalist.
so these are all parties forming the supermajority in the House of Representatives. But you still have GMA as part of Lakas, and I know this is not your party again, ano po, and still part of the majority that supposedly supports this 1414, the integrity and defend the reputation and integrity of the House. But the GMA is there. How do you reconcile that? I mean, how do you siguro explain and understand that?
Honestly, Pinky, I cannot speak in behalf of the party that former President GMA belongs. No?
Okay.
What I know is that, of course, she's still with the Lakas. I think she's a officer of the party, as well as our speaker. I think that should be threshed out among
Themselves,
the members
yeah.
of Lakas.
Okay.
So,
Siguro one last question, sir. With what happened, do you think that this will further unity or further divisiveness in the House?
how do we say this? Okay. The members of the House now, under the leadership of Speaker Martin, is too focused on the approval of priority legislation. That's only perhaps what I can say as of the moment. The only reason why a resolution such as what we approved the other day was passed and adopted is because, as I stated earlier, there were issues from some quarters about probably a challenge to the leadership. But this is not the priority. The priority is to really focus and pass on the proposed legislation sponsored by our LEDAC. No? So that is the concentration now. So I don't think it will either create divisiveness, but more of strengthening the unity in the passage of certain laws that are priority of our president.
And pahabol
Kasi
na lang, sir.
Multi-party itong approval
Pahabol na lang din po. What other bills can be passed before you go on break in a month?
Oh, there's a lot. If I'm not mistaken, we still have at least around 11 priority bills. No, I cannot recall exactly the title of the bills, but all I can say is that there are more or less around 11 more bills that are in the priority legislative agenda of the President for this year.
Okay, Surigao del Norte, 2nd District Representative Ace Barbers. Sir, thank you, as always, for your time. And coming up, the Commission on Elections cancels the special polls in Negros Oriental. What's next for the congressional seat vacated by Arnie Teves? COMELEC Chairman George Garcia tells us more after the break. Please stay tuned.